Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, we're going to see how many ingredients you can put on a label. Island Chomper is an 11% double IPA from Shorts Brewery in Elk Rapids, Michigan. Have you ever looked at a label and you see all the different stuff, all the different ingredients and all that stuff going on, and you think to yourself, yeah, that one sounds interesting enough to try? That's kind of what's going on with this one for me. This is Island Chomper from Shorts. Viewer Heather Lewandowski commented about it on my Facebook page. It sounded really interesting, and I figured, it's been a while since I've tried a Shorts beer on the channel. Why not give it a shot, So let's just do that exact thing. But first, I'd like to thank my executive producers, Brian Kramer and David Jeffries, for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe even just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.drafttherapy.com, where you can get early access to these videos and a few other special perks that are available only to patrons. Take a look at the label, get it into a glass. First off, has the white Shorts cap, like most of their beers have. On the front here, it says Shorts Brew. Has a tiki looking mask here with a big handlebar mustache reminiscent of Joe Short himself. It says Island Chomper Fruit Punch Double IPA. All right, so here's where we get into the ingredients. This is a double American India Pale Ale with pineapple, passion fruit, apple, orange, papaya, apricot, and guava. It sounds almost like a pog to me. So and then some other things, right? So it has these little kind of colored, I don't know if they're supposed to be like caterpillars or what they're supposed to be in the background. If we turn it to the side, it says brewed and bottled by Shorts Brewing Company in Elk Rapids, Michigan. Handmade by people who care. You can see the deposit on here. It says shortsbrewing.com. Sorry, it's 12 fluid ounces because this is a bottle. And on the other side, it has the Shorts logo, the dancing shorts with like the hop cones hanging around it. Going to use my handy dandy bottle opener. Going to use an IPA glass for this one. This is a double IPA. And let's go ahead and pop it and put a nose on the bottle. See what it's all about, at least in the aroma department from the neck of the bottle. Oh my gosh. This smells very dank. Like I had to take another smell. Very, super dank. This is probably one of the dankest beers I have smelled in recent memory. There is a bit of a fruitiness going in there, but it is so, covered up by that dankness. Let's go ahead and pour this. Coming out like a golden kind of copperish yellow. It almost looks like more of just like a malty IPA, how dark the color is, and that kind of continues in the glass. This being a 12-ounce bottle, it obviously doesn't fill up the whole glass, but we're looking at about a finger to two, about a finger and a half worth of head here. Maybe that's generous. Yeah, it's a little more than a finger for sure. More than a finger, less than a finger and a half. It has the color, the head itself has a bit of an off-white color. It's almost shading a little bit towards a tan, and I think the reason for that is because the beer itself is so dark. The color that's kind of rising up through the head is giving it a bit of that color. If we hold it up to the light, it does have a bit of a haze to it. I can kind of see a shadow of my fingers through this. The top part of this is very much a copper color, and the bottom is a little bit of a lighter color. I can see my fingers through the bottom, of course, because this glass is a little bit graduated. To you, it's looking, yeah, it's pretty much looking the same. It looks maybe a little bit more reddish to you, but it looks pretty copper to me. Wow, putting a nose on the glass here. It has, again, very dank, kind of skunky aroma to it. And I don't mean skunky like skunked beer. I mean skunky as in a little bit of the devil's lettuce kind of, variety. Yeah, that smells super dank, though. I'm ready to just try it out, see what this is all about. I'm going to do that. Cheers. Okay, there are a lot of flavors going on here, but I got to start with the mouthfeel. So the mouthfeel is a little bit it's on the medium side. It's almost, there's so much going on with the flavor that it's very hard for me to kind of articulate what exactly the mouthfeel is, like to really get it as precise as I usually do. I usually give it on a light, medium, and heavy kind of, scale. So let's just get another sip here. And it's definitely in the medium category. Wow. This beer. Okay, let's talk about the flavor. I want to get a full swig. and I want to talk about it. It has a very strong, bitter flavor to it, like right up front, and that kind of just carries through. Like, I'm not really picking up on anything much different than bitter, and I think the bitterness is there, but it also has a bit of a boozy kind of quality to it. It's 11%. It's very kind of difficult to differentiate for me between when the bitterness, where the bitterness is and where the booziness is. It has a bit of a boozy flavor to it, but it's not overly boozy. It's not like there's no burn. There's no boozy burn in my throat when I try it. But it has this really strong bitterness to it. I have to look at what the ingredients brewed with. Okay, so this says pineapple, passion fruit, apple, orange, papaya, apricot, and guava. That's a lot. So the one thing I can kind of put my finger on that I am tasting on here, I'm not really getting much citrus. I'm getting a lot of citrus on the back end. It's so super zesty, like orange peel, like if you actually bite the peel of a citrus fruit, like a tangerine, an orange, a lemon, that's like that biting hoppy bitterness that I'm getting. It's very citrus based. The one fruit flavor that I can definitely pick out is passion fruit. I get a little bit of the passion fruit. I also, the way that the body, it's not so much a mouthfeel thing, but it's like a characteristic of the flavor, is like when you bite a very crisp, like almost not necessarily a green apple, but a very crisp apple. You get that kind of like dryness on your tongue, and this does have a dry finish. If I drink it very quickly, it is a little bit sweeter. It doesn't have so much of that like bitterness, or that bitter quality. It has a lot of sweetness when you just kind of drink it really quickly coming through. But then that bitterness really kicks in. That's when you get that citrus, like super citrusy, hoppy bitterness on the tail end, that it really hits you. Otherwise, it just kind of hits you throughout the entire time. I'm not picking so much on that super crisp apple flavor. And in my mind, I'd think of apple as not necessarily being a great thing in beer. It usually connotates that it's a little bit on the green side, a little bit too fresh, like a little bit too new, like it didn't get a chance to finish. I don't think that's the case here. But yeah, I mean, I don't pick much up on the orange. Maybe I'm getting a bit of a papaya, but I'm not really getting, like I said, I've said in probably the last video that I've made, I talked about pineapple being in beer, and having a big, kind of resurgence this year, or at least I'm just noticing it. I'm not really picking up much on the pineapple. I just feel like with all the flavors that are going on here, they just kind of get muddied together. Like there's so many different flavors that you should be able to pick out, or at least be able to say, oh yeah, that kind of reminds me of this, or oh yeah, that kind of reminds me of that. I'm kind of getting this passion fruit. I'm kind of getting an apple and a papaya, an apricot, pineapple, guava, whatever. But there's so many flavors going on that I'm not able to pick out like any specific thing, and that could be number one, that my palate just isn't like advanced enough to be able to pick out every individual thing, but it just tastes like, to me, so dank, so has such a bitterness to it, that everything is really just muddied together. Now, I appreciate that Shorts goes out on a limb and they do these kind of experimental things, or they do these flavors that other people won't do, and that's the way that you push everybody else forward. Back in the day when Shorts was putting out their beers, and it was kind of like super small, super independent, and you'd go and you get a Shorts beer and it would have this like crazy flavor profile. At least that's what it would list. And you taste it, you're like, oh my gosh, man, Joe Short or whoever is doing it now is just this mastermind. He's doing all this stuff, and it pushed the style. It pushed everybody else forward, especially in the market, especially in Michigan. And I have to say, I'm assuming that's why they keep doing these crazy flavors, but I feel like this one kind of missed the mark. It didn't really hit where they wanted it to hit. I mean, I'm just got some guy that drinks beer. I don't know what they wanted to hit, but for me, this is not one that I would recommend unless you want to try something that's probably just totally crazy out there that you haven't tried before. There is a bit of a maltiness to this now that this is kind of warmed up and breathed a little bit more. There is a bit of a malty IPA kind of thing going on here. Again, it's not super boozy, but I do pick up the booziness. The bitterness, I feel like, masks a little of that booziness. But for me, I gotta say, I would not pick up, I'm glad I picked up a single. I would not pick up another one of these Island Chompers. It might be for you, but I gotta say, this is one that just is not for me. All right, friends, that has been Island Chomper from Shorts up in Elk Rapids. Have you had this one before? What are some of your favorite beers? Maybe you've seen a label and you thought, I just got to try that one out. What's one that you tried out that just turned out to be great? Let us know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell. I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you. And you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. Obviously, Shorts, these guys are up in Elk Rapids and Bel Air, Michigan. And until next time, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.